Hi, my name is Gordon, and I'm here to tell you you've been deceived. Deception is one of the devil's favorite tricks. Of course, he would prefer to prevent people from reading the Bible altogether. But if that's not possible, his next favorite trick is to twist the Word of God and change its meaning. He's been so successful at this that it's even worked its way into the English translation of most of our Bibles. For example, in Yeshua's Sermon on the Mount, he plainly said, "Do not think that I came to destroy the law or the prophets. I did not come to destroy, but to fulfill." He then followed that statement immediately with 6 short teachings in which he introduced a commandment of Torah, saying, "You have heard that it was said," after which he added, "But I say to you." Yeshua makes 6 of these kinds of statements in Matthew 5, verses 21 through 48. The first one, in verses 21 and 22, says, "You have heard that it was said to those of old, 'You shall not murder, and whoever murders will be liable to judgment.' But I say to you that everyone who is angry with his brother will be liable to judgment." Many Christian theologians refer to the 6 teachings in these verses as the 6 antithesis statements. That is to say that Yeshua introduced an old obsolete commandment of the Torah and then contradicted it with his new teaching in antithesis to the original. According to this interpretation, Yeshua replaced the Torah with his own new commandments. This is a deception, and it has made its way into our Bibles. Most translations heighten the sense of antithesis by translating Yeshua as saying, "But I say to you." In the Hebrew or Aramaic spoken by the Master, this common conjunction does not necessarily indicate antithesis or contradiction. A better translation might be, "You have heard that it was said, and I say to you." This is a common format found in Jewish teaching that never introduces a contradiction to the Torah. Instead, the rabbi who speaks this way introduces an explanation that clarifies or deepens the meaning of the Torah. It's common to hear a Jewish rabbi open a new teaching with the words, "You have heard," or the words, "It is said," followed by, "And I say to you." The first statement means, up until now, you have understood this passage to mean such and such. Then the second phrase, "And I say to you," presents the rabbi's deeper insight or explanation of the passage just quoted. Yeshua was a Jewish rabbi, and he used this same teaching format, which would have been so familiar to his audience. When we understand Rabbi Yeshua's teaching from this perspective, it is clear that the so-called antithesis statements are not contradictions to the commandments in the Torah. Instead, Yeshua offered fresh interpretations of the commandments. He expounded on the text of the Torah like any rabbi of his day by revealing the Torah's intentions and working out its implications. Far from contradicting the Torah or abolishing it, he filled it with meaning by dispelling misconceptions and establishing its core principles all the firmer. Since Christian theologians mistakenly assume that the gospel replaced the Torah and that the new covenant replaced the old covenant, they misread the teaching of Yeshua to support that wrong assumption. So we mistakenly suppose that Yeshua came to replace the Torah, or at least to correct it, even though he said he didn't. When Bible teachers make the mistake of presenting these teachings of Yeshua as contrary to the Torah of Moses, it's because they've been deceived, and they don't even realize it. This is a serious matter because it causes 2 problems. The first is that it gives Christians an excuse to ignore, or worse, to willfully disobey the eternal commandments that God gave to Moses. The second and more serious problem is that it makes Yeshua, Jesus, unacceptable to Jews. If Yeshua contradicted, abolished, or did away with the Torah, he cannot be the Messiah. The Messiah will not do that. End of discussion. So, this clever deception that Jesus did away with the Torah is a favorite in the devil's playbook because it keeps Jews from accepting their Messiah, and it causes Christians to ignore or disrespect God's commandments. For at least 17 centuries, since the days of the Roman Empire, Jews have been lied to about Christ and persecuted by an anti-Semitic church. For just as long, Christians have been lied to about Jews, Judaism, and the Torah of Moses. As a result, the New Testament scriptures have been stripped of their Jewish context and sometimes intentionally mistranslated. Join us again as we try to roll back the matrix of lies and deception to discover how beautifully united faith in Yeshua and biblical Judaism can be. My name is Gordon, and here is your Red Pill.